Welcome to the It's All Fine and Danjee podcast, where hosts Dan and Angie talk with creatives, small business owners, charities, and all kinds of interesting people. It's all real talk. It's all fine and Danjee.
Hi guys, welcome back to the show. Thank you so much for tuning in this week to see who's in the studio.
I think you're driving up our YouTube videos views. Honestly, I love that because
I have a very animated face.
Oh, it's not just that. You got. Thanks for tuning in to see who's in the studio, not to hear who's in the studio.
I don't even realize that I say that.
I know, it's awesome
because we did just just regular podcast.
Like
audio.
For
I was going to call it a listening podcast. Jesus.
We used to do just ear podcasts. Now we do eye podcasts and ear podcasts.
So we're getting back into the YouTube video. So now, apparently I'm used to it. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you.
We have another guest here that owns a local small business here in the Asheville area, Rosa Dostilio. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Hold on, let me try it because we talked about this before the show.
I should just do first names from now on.
Dostilio?
Yes.
Dostilio.
Okay. All right, he's the winner.
Dostilio? Dostilio.
Dostilio.
You know.
Whatever you want to say.
You're giving us the thumbs up on all of them.
Yes.
She's like, yes. I answer to all of the above.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
You should see the junk mail that I get. I mean, the variety of ways that my last name is spelled.
I could imagine.
The times that DMV has actually gotten it wrong. And I've gotten my license and been like, oh, God, I got to go back because they put 3 L's. Why would they do that? What is happening right now? So,
that's a really exotic name.
You know?
I am completely spoiled, I must say, with my 3-digit Dan Fox name. So I feel for you for sure. My middle name's Ray. So it's all just like
wow.
Can't
get much easier than that.
Yeah, very cheesy.
Did you think your parents thought you might have a challenge spelling your name or something?
Oh, mine probably, or they had a challenge spelling it. Who knows? I do want to mention before we get into your business and what you do, you were the first one to reach out to us when we posted that we were looking for guests. So
you actually were.
You got the ball rolling for us, and ever since then, we're like 2 months booked out. So thank you for that because
I was just trying to try new things and. I mean, I figured why not? And if we can help each other grow, then why not?
Yeah.
Isn't that like what the connection's all about?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We loved that because we were getting a little discouraged, because we had we have a very large following in Florida and have met so many great small businesses there. You're starting from scratch when you come into a new area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've got to, kind of get out there and meet people. And we're doing our normal things like we did, but it's a lot of cold calls, kind of. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, here's what we do. You can check us out, but I promise we're
cool
it's fun.
People.
It's cool.
Right.
We're cool.
Well,
once you can get your foot in the door and get 1 or 2 people, then you're like, okay. All right, good.
And it also drives more traffic because once you've had 6 or 7 guests on and people have heard of you a little, then it's easier for people to want to come on versus I don't know who these guys are. So it's like it was hard to get the ice broken.
And not to mention, you're like, come to my home and come into my basement.
Right.
I mean, shouldn't all good podcasts start in a basement?
I guess so. Yeah.
I mean, it's my first time on any podcast. I don't even listen to podcasts. So, I mean.
Well, hopefully you listen to this
Well,
one.
I didn't listen to podcasts before we started a podcast. So there we go. I wonder how many times we can say podcast in this show.
Probably not as many times as I said it on our very first episode.
Right.
It was like 37.
That's right. Well, Rosa, you just started a brand new business this year.
I did.
And it's called Ruby's Home Cleaning.
It is.
And so you're doing, people's homes, vacation rentals. So we're going to kind of get all into that. You're throughout the Asheville area.
Yeah, so I do, I'm centered in Asheville is where I live, and then I do about 25, 30 miles out, wherever I drive. I mean, because vacation homes aren't like necessarily in the city, plus there's all the other talk about, I won't even get into the short-term rental nonsense in the...
In certain counties. Oh, we've learned a little bit about that too. I think this used to be one where we're at, and they switched it potentially because of the...
Yep. Yeah. The crackdown on
the
them.
Crackdown,
yeah.
So I just opened this year in January. I saw a potential for a need in the market, and I just thought, why not try something new? I've just been taking leaps and hoping I fly.
Awesome.
Well, good for you. Well,
so prior to this, did you have experience in this area?
We've lived in Asheville about 2 years. We've kind of lived all over. Most recently before this was Dallas. We've done Minneapolis, Denver. I lived in Charlotte.
Wow.
I grew up in Connecticut. So kind of been all over the place. And like it here in Asheville. Want to stay here and kind of put down some roots. I mean, moving around a whole bunch and working in different cities has been really cool, but I'd like to kind of settle down a little bit and wanted to be my own business owner. I've always worked in hospitality, and just late nights are no longer conducive to anything good.
You Angie guessed that because on your website, which by the way, I'm an IT guy, my day job. So I'm looking at your website like, wow, this is a really nice website. And it really is.
Thank you.
But you made a comment about hospitality, which you don't hear much about in this type of business. So you don't hear that term in the cleaning business very often.
Well, I focus, most of my cleanings are in short-term rentals. I think that's just another extension of the hospitality business, so people don't want to stay at a hotel. They want to stay at a home. They want to be able to have more room. But you still want all of those things and those touches. And I think people can definitely tell the difference when they stay at the places that are like, oh, well, you have to start a load of towels and take out the trash and do this and make the beds and yada, 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 versus like, please just lock the doors when you leave and your cleaner will take care of it, So like I want to provide that experience for people so they can still feel like they're being taken care of, and have all those little extras and exceed their expectations. When they go.
I love that. It's like a hotel. It should feel like a hotel, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think if you have the right cleaner that's had even like a background like you do, it takes it to the next level even. There are certain little things that she probably does that even a hotel, you won't see at a hotel. The placement of something or the way a towel is folded or placed. I mean, there's just these little tiny touches that you can do. That's why I'm picky at our Airbnb in Florida.
Absolutely. There's like your five senses. So like when you walk in, how does it smell? Does it smell clean? Does it smell fresh? Does it look clean? Can you visually see that things are gleaming? How do you feel when you walk in? Do you feel comfortable? Just want to take in all those things in account. Like what would I want? I'm super picky when I go out anywhere to do anything. Almost to a fault sometimes. I mean, sometimes I wish I could just be like, okay, it's fine.
This is so relatable.
You can't do everything.
Can I tell you how relatable this is?
Reminds me of, do you watch Friends at all?
Yeah.
Okay, the episode where they go to the hotel. Well, Chandler and Monica go to the hotel, and there was like lipstick on a dirty glass, and she like switched the hotel room 15 times. I'm like, that can't happen at my place. It can't happen ever.
It can't. I mean, I go through everything. I have like a, do this first, do the second kind of thing checklist, and then I've been able to get myself to a point where I feel like now I can start doing even more extras because like I can do things more efficiently.
Yeah, once you get that flow down.
Yeah, absolutely. Like by the time I'm like a third clean on a house, I feel like I've got myself, okay, well now I can start paying all these extras and let's do the baseboards, let's do the ceiling fans, let's make sure that all of the detail cleaning and like deep cleaning, if you will, is maintained. Because so many cleaners just don't do that. They're like, okay, well we clean the toilets and we wipe down the kitchen counter and change the beds.
Yeah.
But then, like, you open the door and you're like, there's so many dust bunnies. Why?
Yeah.
Well, if you've stayed in a bunch of Airbnbs like we have, you can definitely tell the difference. Because sometimes, you're right, that it's almost like those first few minutes can be misleading because we've been in Airbnbs where we're like, oh, this is nice. And then you've been there for half an hour and you're like, don't touch the whatever. You know what I mean? So I know what you mean.
Or you open a drawer and there's like crumbs in with the silverware.
Yeah.
And, I think what it is, too, is... when you first get an Airbnb, you're so excited about the setup and everything like that. The owners they take the beautiful pictures, and the beautiful pictures are what you're seeing. In my mind, I want that to be maintained the whole entire time that I'm running that, right?
Or and update your photos.
I think a lot of people get into it, and then they're just like, no, just want that quick money, instead of focusing on that quality and really giving that experience, the showing hospitality, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to go and feel warm and welcome. We always have a welcome basket, water, wine, snacks, cookies,
all the goodies.
We appreciate you for coming in and choosing us.
Those extra little touches mean a lot, though.
Yeah.
They do mean a lot.
I mean, because they could have chosen so many other places to go. They could have gone cookie cutter and gone to a hotel where they know what the experience is going to be like already. Because that is kind of the challenge when you go into an Airbnb, right? You're hoping that you're going to get that 5-star experience right when you walk in. From, like you said, all those senses as soon as you're walking in. And a lot of times it's like, it was okay. Yeah. Right? It's okay.
My mom came to visit a couple years ago, and I felt horrible because I got her a little Airbnb, like super cute little cabin. Like, go to set it up with her, and like you could just smell how musty it was. And then she had all these chores that she was supposed to do before she checked out. Like, you shouldn't have to do chores. Like, really just put the dishes in the dishwasher. Like, don't be a gross human. You know, like, but like, I don't need you to. I don't want you to strip the bed. It's so much easier for me to do it myself. I can see if there's any stains. I can make sure that things come off in a, you know, appropriate way, and know which goes to which bed. You know, you're not trying to guess later on.
Yeah, I love that you said that. That's great for people listening to know as you go stay at Airbnbs. You think you are doing a favor, right? That you're taking all those linens off.
Well, some places ask you to do it. Like, it's in the checkout rule. So it kind of really depends on the property. I work for a few different property management companies, and each one is different. You know, so I just abide by whatever they've set forth.
That's true.
You know, but as a traveler, I mean, I don't want to have to do anything. And as a cleaner, it's really easier for me if I can just go in and do it all, you know, because I can do it more efficiently rather than sorting through
where does this go?
Everything that you've thrown in the laundry room. Now I have like 6 piles of stuff to sort through. I have to sort before I can start, rather than be able, I can go into one room, get that in the washer, and then you know, go from there.
I know we've had some people take stuff off thinking, even though it said don't, they do thinking, oh, it's going to make their life easier.
Or they've had to somewhere else, you know, and they just think that's kind of the standard.
Or they've even tried to wash stuff where it's like, oh no, now it's all messed up. And so it's like, I'm with you. Like, there's a fine line, but as a renter of Airbnbs, I don't want a big list of things to do on the way out, but we're also decent people. We're not going to leave it trashed.
Right.
I feel like leave it the same way you leave a hotel, right? So that's kind of what I feel like you're saying, where you don't have a bunch of things to do. Just, you know, put your dishes in the dishwasher, stack your stuff up.
Like,
and
I don't even need you to run it. You don't need to turn it on. Just like rinse it and put it in. So there's not like weird, gross food stuff laying around.
Or bugs,
that's it. Like, that's like my only thing. I can do everything else. I'm happy to.
It's so funny because being on this end of the conversation is so much different now that we have an Airbnb.
Right.
And it can really,
changes your perspective.
It does. And I can really appreciate what you're saying.
So how did you see that there was a need for this in the area? Were you networking with people? Were you working somewhere else? Like, how did you see that, hey, this is a kind of a niche that needs to be filled?
I felt like that what I could offer is different than what other cleaning companies may be offering. I don't have any experience with cleaning per se. All of my experience is in restaurants and hotels as a manager, as a waitress, you know. I've kind of done all the other things. So customer service and guest-facing interaction has always been my thing. There's a lot of tourists here. I mean, from working in 2 restaurants before, you know, I started this business here. I mean, it's definitely a tourist season. It's more touristy than anywhere that we've ever lived. And I just thought I could tap into that.
I like that.
And I wanted to be my own business owner. I don't want to work late nights. I don't want to work for anyone else. I want to be my own boss. And I think I spent a lot of January like crying and throwing a temper tantrum and like thinking like, what did I do? Oh my God. Like, did I do the right thing? And then like you push through all that like self-growth, and then you're in this point of like, okay, well now I'm making moves and I'm making calls, and you're making cold calls, and you call 20 people and 2 people call you back, but 2 people call you back. And so from those 2 people, now you have another referral. And so it's really, I've found it's been more about the connections I've made with people and the networking than anything else. And just being able to offer the hospitality aspect, because I really think that that's what's lacking here.
I think that was a great way to kind of, you know, build your pitch, right? Because as Airbnb hosts, especially people that are investing in different properties, that's what they focus on, is the hospitality aspect, because that's what you're categorized as.
And I didn't even, like when I said I hadn't heard that term, I think maybe, I'm thinking hospitality, like you're working in the restaurant industry, and applying that thought to an Airbnb and what you're doing to clean it and maintain it, is more, I understand that better now than ever because of what we've been through. And I don't want to make this whole thing about the nightmares we've experienced, but I mean, we've
been pretty fortunate.
We're only, a year in now of our, maybe not quite.
9 months.
9 months in. And it's been mostly good. But there's been a couple situations where you're like, wow.
People act like that.
So having a good cleaner come in behind someone that's just made a mess is critically important. And, so I think your experience with hospitality and just wanting to give that vibe. Like you mentioned the basket, and those little things aren't in every Airbnb we've been to. The ones that are, you just immediately feel like, oh man, this is like.
And it's not only what's in the basket; it's how it's presented.
Yeah.
You can throw some shit in
stuff. Yeah, there you
some
go.
shit, not shit. No,
because that'd be gross.
That'd be gross. Okay, you can throw some stuff in a basket and be like, "There's your stuff in the basket."
Yeah,
but you're taking it to the next level by the way you place it, and that they can see everything, and the little thank you note is in there, and
it's more quality stuff, and you know there is the appreciative note, and it's just knowing that somebody put some thought into it, and you're also being hospitable to your property managers and owners by letting them know that you're taking care of the other end for them. It's like you're an extension of the service, you know, and it really doesn't function without the cleaner, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, I'm telling you, that is the most important part. 100%. That is your eyes on the ground, your boots on the ground. You know what I mean? They're going to notice the issues that are going on in the house firsthand. If you don't have a good cleaner, you're not going to be successful.
And
you can't blame it on anything except for yourself, because it's your job to find that right fit for your Airbnb.
Yeah. And I was going to say, those extra things that you do that aren't necessarily provided by a lot of the cleaners, that probably separates you from, you know, a lot of the pack right away, because we're fortunate to have relatives cleaning, but you hear the horror stories, and, you know, just taking the time to try to find a cleaner. And I had to you almost can't get rid of one until you have one lined up, because you have your rentals booked. And so
can get tricky with that balance there.
Yeah. And taking care of some of that stuff that maybe wouldn't normally be on the plate of the cleaner, I think that probably separates you from a lot of them right away.
Well, you're the one that's there at the property. I mean, and it's a different experience depending upon if, you know, my client is the property owner, like y'all, if I was going to be cleaning for you, or if the client is a property management company where they may have 3 or 4 properties that I clean for. I've found typically with the property management companies is where there's more, I don't know, I'd say like leeway or like...
Oh, I would have thought the opposite. Wow. Okay.
Because I think sometimes they may be overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to do is, especially with one company I work with, that I do feel like they do have a lot on their plate, and maybe their previous cleaner wasn't taking care of things for them. So I want to prove to them that, hey, you know, you've got, you know, an ally with me. I'm not going to just come in and come out
and just collect your paycheck.
And just collect my paycheck. Right. I want to come in and I want to make sure that, you know, the property is right for the guest, because that's the 5-star review is important. You know, the guest is paying money not only to stay there, but they're also paying money for a cleaning fee. You know,
and your 5-star review is a reflection of you as the cleaner.
That's the make or break part of Airbnb too, because you know, people are only going to filter it down to that. They're only going to filter it to Superhost. So it's you know. That's what we search when we, and not being one at first, because you can't be one until you've earned it.
Yeah.
I know how critically important that is, you know, especially in terms of the cleaning, because that's how you get a bad review. Somebody shows up and finds something's not right.
And when somebody gives you any less, you're like, what? Oh my gosh, what happened?
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say, though, the difference between having the owner and the property management is there is an emotional investment when it's an owner. It was their home they lived in, usually, like ours. You know what I mean? It was yours, and it's you take things personal. You know what I mean? And you want it to be a very particular way. Whereas property management, you might have a checklist that they are like, as long as these things are good, then that's 5-star. You're good. You know what I mean? But with an owner, you're like, no, I want this plant
and that can be
this
good,
way.
right? And that can be good and bad, you know, because you know. If you're so particular that...
I know I get on my sister's nerves sometimes.
Well, I mean, but she's your sister, so you should get on her nerves. Like, that's part of your job.
But she knows my language. You know what I mean?
Right,
so I can say it to her, and she's like, you don't need to be that picky. And I'm like, yes, I do. And guess what?
I do.
So do you. Okay?
But that's how you're separating yourself from the other Airbnbs, though. Those little things really do separate you from the other ones.
Yeah, I want to go above and beyond. I want to make sure that all those details are not missed.
So, and I know you prefer probably cleaning the vacation rentals. And I think we talked about that a little bit before the show. It's because you're in there so much usually that you're really keeping up on things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas when you're at someplace once a month doing a deep cleaning, it's totally different kind of feel. You know what I mean?
It is a totally different vibe. The other cleanings that I've done outside of the vacation rentals is I've done some like move in, move out cleans for people, which I enjoy because nobody's there.
Nobody's
There's
in
no
the
furniture
way.
there.
Yeah.
You just crank up the music and you get the steamer out and you go to town and, it's like a good workout, you know? The clean that I've had where like the person is, home or they've like gone out to grab a bite and it's a deep clean and then it wants it. It's not my favorite.
It's awkward. So I had a cleaning business years ago when my kids were little, and I hated it.
Oh, I didn't know this. This is new to me.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Yes, I did for years. And
our kids are not with each other.
No.
Yeah, that's why we're happy.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
But when they said they were going to be home, I just dreaded it. I'm like, because it's like you're under a microscope. You know what I mean? Your flow completely changes. Like the vibe is completely off.
Yeah.
Whereas before you might get it done in like 2 hours. Now you feel like, I got to stay there for at least 4 hours because they're paying me this much, even though you could have got it just as clean. Doing it the other way.
Because you're afraid somebody's going to realize, they were only here for a half an hour.
Oh, they're making $75 an hour?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I want them to make $10 an hour,
Basically that.
And sometimes they say ridiculous stuff like that, too. Like,
no. And not everyone's your client. You know?
That's right.
I've found that, the inquiries that I get where it's immediately about, well, how many hours is it going to take? How many people, teams is going to be in it? All of these types of questions where it's more trying to drill down about what am I paying you per hour? When I explicitly tell them I don't have an hourly rate. I base it by project. So
of course, I would think it's a package.
It's a package deal.
And that's why you own your own business.
Yeah.
Right,
and if it takes me 4 hours and that day was a good day for me because it wasn't that bad, great. But I mean, there's been times when I've been in a deep clean for 7.5 hours because that's what it needed. And did that day I make less per hour?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But it all comes out in the wash.
Right, you're paying for the quality. Don't worry about whether or not I can knock it out in an hour or a day. You're getting the quality regardless. That's what you're paying for.
That's why you hire experts. They've learned the tricks of the trade.
I would tend to be, if I was in your shoes, I'd tend to get apprehensive with that potential client being a client when you get a question like that because you're like, they're going to nickel and dime me apart.
Yeah, and I feel like you just have to tell them, I don't think I'm the right fit for you. As a business owner.
And I have no problem doing that.
Yeah.
Because, there's someone else that, is a right fit for
and
you.
is going to be happy with that.
I love that you're okay with that, though, because so many people, when they do start a brand new business, they're going to take anything on that they can. And I feel like what that can do is diminish, your value in yourself because you're seeing that, oh man, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
And you want it to be something that you're enjoying doing. And when it's just those beat down ones like that where they're not seeing your value, it's like, no, I just can't do it.
It's just better to, take them out, and not
find something else.
Find something else.
I
mean, I enjoy cleaning. It's kind of like a moving meditation, if you will. You just kind of get to zone in. And
that's right. You put your headphones on and you just you kind of. I used to do that all the time at the house.
I know. I'm so what is it ADD where I would come back into a room. I would come be cleaning the bedroom and come back out and the vacuum cleaner be like in the middle of the living room and be like, oh yeah, I guess I stopped in the middle of that. So
well, it's entirely different when I'm cleaning my own house.
Yeah.
It'll take me 3 times as long to clean my own house because it's the same thing. I've got a little of the ADD too, so it's like, okay,
I'm gonna organize this.
I'm gonna organize this and then I got to put this away over here and then wait, the vacuum's still out over here and I was making food, the butter's burnt in the pan now.
That's me. That's 100% me.
So relatable.
And we get it done, but I guess that's true. It's because there's so many other personal things that become little projects you wanted to do. Whereas when you're doing someone else's property, you have like a mental checklist or maybe even a physical checklist.
Yeah, I have kind of, both. There's like a little physical of like 5 or 6 things like, hey, don't ever forget this. But everything else is kind of, I go through the room top to bottom, left to right. I, start a certain way and try to always figure out what I could be doing to make my time more effective,
So when you first meet with a client for like a short-term rental, vacation rental, I say that because a lot of people don't know what short-term rental is. You start speaking foreign language.
You say
like
STR and they're like, what?
What is that?
What is that? Can you catch that somewhere?
Exactly.
Look, I'm over here wondering what that is. What is it?
Short-term rental.
STR is short-term. I'll see myself out, guys.
So when you meet with a client and it's your first time going to do a project for them, cleaning for them, how do you work that? Do you have an initial like setup cleaning fee? Is it, charged after you kind of walk through the property and you kind of give them an idea?
So typically I like to get the address or the listing for them ahead of time just so I can see the property, or if I don't have the listing, at least see on Zillow, is it actually a 3-bedroom, 2-bath? How many square feet is it? Is it 3 floors? Is it old? Those kind of things. So I can kind of go in with an idea of those factors. And then I do my pricing all based upon beds and baths.
Oh, okay.
So the amount varies depending upon the size of the bed, what kind of bathroom you have. Is it a 2 shower head, all glass shower with a massive tub? Is it going to be extra time for me to make sure that that's streak free? Yeah. Or is it just a regular, everyone has the tub and the shower kind of thing? So those things factor into the pricing on the bathrooms. And I like to kind of walk the property with, the owner or the manager and kind of see where the property is at as far as cleanliness. And then I'll base upon there.
Yeah, because you might be coming in, obviously they're looking for somebody new probably. You might be coming in to where you kind of have to pick up the slack that, was left behind.
And, everyone misses things. Everyone's human.
Yeah.
And, that's...
Can't do it all every time.
You can't do it all every time. Otherwise, you'd be there all day. Mm-hmm. But, I try to pick, if a property, I'm going to be there 4 times a month, at least every once a week.
Yeah.
You figure, okay, this week I'm going to do all the ceiling fans and eye dusting.
Oh, that's a great way.
Next week I'm going to do all the baseboards. The following week I'm going to do kitchen drawers or whatever.
That's how you get the really deep cleaning.
So it's always deep cleaned, but I'm not deep cleaning it all the time.
Yeah, because that just takes, you can't do that in a turnaround time.
No.
So
it's pretty not really necessary either every time. Those are the kinds of things that take a little while to get dirty, right? I would think.
They do, but I mean, I've noticed in a lot of the properties here that are newer construction.
Yep.
The dust continues to settle. So I had a property that I know 3 days ago I cleaned it, and I know I vacuumed the baseboards.
Yeah.
And I came back today and I was like,
what?
What is it? I know that I did this.
But we did a renovation in our house, and it still gets
drywall.
dusty.
It's drywall and dust, and this is why some
4
people
or 5 years passed.
This is why some people have their ducts blown out or cleaned out because just like Angie
suggest
said,
that
we taped up and everything, and it was just like you said, where it would be 2 days later, and you just wipe your hand across the counter and be like, "Oh my God, we're breathing all this stuff."
Dude, you could see it coming out of the vents
at first.
One point. It was
but I'm
horrible.
talking.
That's a lot.
I'm talking months later, though. Months later, we probably shortened our lives with that because months later it would be like a day or two it would take for dust. So I know what you mean. So that's like a losing battle because you're like, but at least you're aware.
Yeah, because I know that when you close the door, you're going to see the dust in the corner because I see it when I close the door. So I want to, those are like the little things that I think some other people are missing.
Yeah. And I listen to I listen to a bunch of podcasts. One in particular that I listened to called No Vacancy that kind of walked me through how to start a podcast or how to start up. Airbnb.
Yeah.
And one of the things
podcast
she said
about Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's No Vacancy.
Okay.
Get it?
Very nice. I do get it.
No
That's
vacancy.
clever.
It's very clever. But she said one of the things to do is stay at your own place every once in a while and sit down on the couch and look.
As if you're a guest.
Look like you're a guest. Yeah. Is there dirt on the doors? Is there something? You know what I mean? Just look around like you're a guest. And would it be something you would be like grossed out about? Yeah. Like the poop fans in bathrooms. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. After I've done my cleaning, I load my supplies out, I put them all on the porch, and then I walk back in as if I am the guest.
Oh, it's a great.
I walk back in, and what is the first thing that I see? Oh, I missed a fingerprint on the fridge over there. Let me go get that real quick. It's you walk in with a different set of eyes. The music's turned off. Everything is like I'm ready to go, and then I'm taking pictures, of course, to send to the owner so that they can see that these are the things that you know have been done and that it's ready to go for the next person.
Do you use special app for that?
Oh gosh, there's so many apps.
I know. We're testing we tested it before and we didn't love it. Turno. So they're supposed to have upgraded it. So we'll see how it goes.
Turno, I haven't actually obtained any clients from Turno. Turno, you can go on and basically property owners can say, okay, well, I have a 3.2. It's however many square feet, and you can bid on it. And then Turno will tell you the average winning bid for this property is 125 to 175 or whatever they say. And so you'll bid in between
those prices.
I've yet to win a bid. No, I take that back. I won one bid, and she said she wanted me as a backup cleaner, and then I never heard from her again. That was like 6 weeks ago. Oh. But Cherno charges the property owner. Cherno also charges us.
Yes.
So I can't remember the percentage, but it's like $5 or $6 per transaction.
That's why I stopped using it, because it's so much easier for me to just Apple Pay my sister. You know what I mean? I can understand why somebody with multiple properties would use that app, because it's all in one spot.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't like the fact that it charges such, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
like $1. Okay, fine. But it also takes 5 to 7 days to get the funds. Like, you don't get them immediately.
No, and everyone wants to be like a middle person with all of these apps.
Yeah.
I don't mind the apps that are just for scheduling. Like, a couple of the property management companies have an app specific to them. And so, like, I can pull up the calendar. I can see, okay, well, this property is booked on these days, whatever. And within the Airbnb app, if you're set up as a co-host, I'm a co-host on one property. So then I can see the bookings that way. But basically, I'm taking 4 or 5 different calendar apps and putting them all into my Google Calendar, and then triple checking, and then going back. And you're going to get to where you can't do that though. So
you know what I mean? Because we were doing that too, and it, even with just me, having one property, it was getting overwhelming just triple checking.
And I was over here terrified that like Verbo would book, and then in the 10 seconds it took you to get over to Airbnb to mark it booked, somebody else booked, and I was, so. Yeah.
But that's why when you bring like a co-host on that actually has other properties, it's so nice, because they've usually invested in all them programs that tested them. So you're like, okay, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead, work it for me.
But I think
work it. Just bring me some money.
We like money.
But Rosa, in relation to your business, I think it's a good problem to have, because when you get to where you're like, I can't manage this, it means you're cranking, right? So
it's been I'm so grateful. Like, it's just been, I don't know. It's like I put down a bunch of seeds, and then everything is like blooming right now. And I'm at a point where I kind of sort of need a little bit of help, not quite yet.
We were going to ask, is it all you now?
It's just me.
Oh, wow.
It's just me.
Wow.
I do it all.
Hey, if you need help every once in a while.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Now I know who I can call.
You can see pictures of my Airbnb. I'll show it to
you. I'm not quite ready to bring someone on quite yet. We're still in April, but I think with the amount of properties that I have, I'm definitely going to be needing some assistance here in the next couple months.
The busier season. And the thing is, for you, I mean, you literally just started at the beginning of the year. Because January, you're like, what did I do? And then everything just started kind of flowing. You know?
I launched January 1st.
Amazing.
Built my website.
So you built your website?
I did.
Look at that.
It's awesome. I love it. It's great.
Website. So look, when you're a business owner, the first thing we are doing is going to go look at the website.
Yeah.
And in the social media and everything. You're great at social media.
Thank you.
I aspire to be great at social media. I'm trying very hard.
You aspire to, yeah. Well, I mean, you're better than me at it. I'm good at like personal social media, but for business, it's like.
I'm trying.
But personal social media, I like hate it. Like, I was literally off Facebook for like on and off for the last decade.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just don't want to be caught up in it. But get a business Facebook page, you have to have your personal one activated. So I did that because really I just had Instagram for my dog. It was her Instagram.
We have that too, for sure.
And I keep in touch with friends that way. Yeah. But now I have the business Instagram, and
know when to post. There's a time of day. That's the thing I never understand. Like, I would for our Airbnb for the podcast to be like, oh, cool. There's a cool graphic for a thing, and it's like 11 at night. So then my friends that are better at it, probably like you, they're like, why didn't you wait to Tuesday at 4? And I'm like, why would I?
I get a little bit of feedback from like the Facebook and Instagram kind of tells you.
Yeah, they give you
when
an
your your followers are most active.
That's all I listen to. I don't really, because if you look online, you Google it and say what's the best time, it gives you
it's a range.
So many different answers. You're like, so that's why it is good to look at those analytics, because it does break it down to when people are looking at your stuff.
Yeah.
If you have a lot of people that listen that are small business owners, they're probably going to, be listening at lunchtime or something when they have a break, you know, or later at night.
And that's the weird thing about social media too, is it's just sort of like a constantly auto-scrolling page. So if you don't land when someone's there, it went past and they didn't see it, and they're not going to scroll back up to see it. So it's not like Twitter where it just it starts right where you left off, even if it's days later.
Okay.
You know, you've already missed it.
I've never even done Twitter.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't really do it either. I just know that
like,
part of it.
Look, I'm just now getting to where I can focus on Facebook and Instagram, and really it's because you can hit this little button where it posts the same thing to both. So you're like, yes.
That's what I end up doing from like my, Meta Business Suite or whatever you call it.
It makes it sound so fancy.
I know. It's like, this separate page.
Big
that does
time.
it all for me.
And then you have to be careful. So we were talking about personal just for a minute, but I don't know if it's generational, but I think for me, I got to the point to where between like filtering people out and just watching what everyone's talking about, my Facebook is like people enjoying their lives. And look, we took the dog to this park and here's a great restaurant, stuff I love. But it took like tweaking because it became politics and it became this and it became like all this stuff that was just, so I get why so many people hate it, because it seems like when it first came out, it was all fun stuff like that. Like, hey,
MySpace was way cooler.
Yeah, like MySpace.
You could put music on your page. You could it was way cooler. I think.
But
I never had that, and I banned my children
I
from
had
it.
it. But the premise to me
Such
was,
a mean mom.
especially if it's people you really know in real life, the premise was neat because it was like, hey, we're all going to this place on Saturday. It became like even my family used Facebook for that.
For like meetups and stuff like that.
The groups in there are great. I have definitely gained a lot of clients from some of the Asheville Airbnb and local groups and small business groups.
Have you heard of Go Local Asheville?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a great group. We'll talk about it afterwards, but you can sign up for them for free and get a little ad in their paper. I got the information over there.
Okay.
And then they do discounts for people that are part of it with the card, don't they?
Well, you can buy a card where you get discounts from other small businesses, but usually what you do, they ask you to do, they advertise for free for you.
Okay, that's cool.
But you offer something. So like we do a free 30-second commercial if you're a Go Asheville member, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I believe
you have to offer something for your service.
So that catalog that Chris is looking through over there, that's the whole list of all the businesses that are in it, right?
Okay.
Chris didn't think he was going to be on the show.
He didn't think so. He thought he'd be able to sit there and be quiet.
I don't have a camera that can catch him, so he's safe.
He is safe.
So what I love too is that you're using eco-friendly products when you're cleaning.
For mostly everything. I use sal suds and thieves oil for my like kind of everyday. I do use barkeepers in toilets, and if like there's a tough, stubborn stain. Say that 5 times fast. And then I use tea tree oil. I use baking soda, vinegar. You have to be careful with vinegar because a lot of people just put it wherever they want, and it messes up like natural stone and stuff like that. I try to use it just for like the glass and the glass only, just to get that super streak free.
It's really good. We use it in the drains with like baking soda and pour the vinegar every time I have them do that, because I'm like, people's hair is going to get in there. It's going to clog up. I don't need somebody having a clogged drain.
But it's not chemicals, which is nice. And I get you're probably cleaning some properties that are pet friendly.
Yes.
And that's critical too. There's not like chemicals everywhere for the dogs to get into.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and for your long-term health too.
Yeah.
I mean, because, I did not clean with that kind of stuff when I was cleaning. It was, and I almost knocked myself out a couple times. Because you're mixing, you're mixing stuff. Yeah. Sometimes you mix like bleach with, and something else was on your hand, and then all of a sudden you're like lightheaded and passing out in somebody's house and they find you on the floor.
I was thinking of like the owners though, just that's an added value for them to hire you because of the using the natural stuff. And I went right to dogs. I guess I should have said kids too, right?
I mean, who has those these days?
We have kids. We have fur.
I have fur babies. Yes. Yes.
But it's important. I guess maybe the reason I went to dogs is because they're more likely to start licking the corner of a floor.
Have you seen
something.
a toddler? Have you seen an infant?
It's been a lot of years, thank goodness. Yes.
Well, I love it too because we talked about the senses as you come into a house, and if you're like me, I have the most sensitive nose. If I walk into a place and I smell that they have been cleaning the bathrooms with Fabuloso, and I can smell that from as soon as I walk in the door,
it's a headache.
I'm like, we got to go. I can't smell it. It's so disgusting. Or if I freak out if I'm in a restaurant and the person is cleaning the table next to me and they're spraying the stuff, and I'm like,
and smell it. Yeah, it's might as well be.
And dryer sheets. Oh my god, the smell of dryer sheets. I cannot.
I know
it gives me such a headache, and then I feel
they're
like
toxic. Yeah,
they're toxic, and then I feel like it's like I smell like them later. Like if I've done laundry somewhere and they used a dryer sheet before, even though I'm using wool balls and I'm not using the dryer sheets, like the dryers somehow like I smell like their detergent and everything. Just like
like you're contaminated by it.
I mean, like as most properties have like the free and clear, but like some prefer to have like, or they've already purchased before I came on, and you know, if you've got a jug of Gain, that's what I'm going to use.
Of course.
So.
Yeah, you're not coming in saying, hey, you need to replace all your stuff, but you are offering saying, hey, I clean with this stuff. Here's the benefits of it.
Absolutely.
Especially if, I don't know if you've ever smelled thieves. It's a...
You mean like actual thieves?
Yeah.
They smell like pirates a little bit.
It's a natural oil blend.
It's like a rosemary, frankincense
citrusy,
but like it doesn't linger too long.
Yeah, with essential oils, you know.
So it's more healthy.
But it's disinfecting, killing, antifungal.
I was a
microbial.
typical guy that cleaned with like Comet and bleach and, you know, stuff that's
I
probably...
I still do use some of that stuff sometimes, but usually it's vinegar and baking soda.
Yeah. Mine was soft scrub, you know, all the poisonous stuff, all the stuff that the commercials told me to use.
Hey, you know, we've all been marketed to, you know, like my dad still calls tissues Kleenex because that was the first brand and they were, that's a Kleenex to him.
Q-tips.
Yeah. You know, it's not a cotton swab. It's a Q.
Yeah.
That's so true. Or it used to be Coke was.
But that's great marketing though.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Coke was another one that in the South we would refer to Coke as any soda, and it's really the name of the Coke.
It's really the name. I lived in the Midwest for a little bit. We lived in Minneapolis for 3 years, and it's called Pop out there.
And
I picked that up.
Michigan.
Yeah.
That's
so
what we
I called it
Yeah.
Pop when we were living in Dallas, and they're like, "What?
Yeah.
What? Huh?
I'm like, the pop machine needs to be cleaned. They're like, the what machine?
Right.
I'm like, the soda, you know, the thing with the beverages.
Can I tell you though, where we lived, soda didn't even mean, it was always Coke. Like soda would have been soda. What do you want, some soda water?
Yeah, we either did pop or Pepsi in Michigan because Coke wasn't like the preferred drink. It was Pepsi.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Pop is too funny to me too. I wonder where that came from.
Because it makes a pop sound.
Well, it's soda pop,
off, right?
Initially, you read it was a soda pop.
Soda pop. It's probably the initial. Yeah. Okay. How about that?
And people are like, "Nope, we're from the north. We're going to say this. So we're from the south, and we're going to say this."
But in the south, right? In the south, it used to be, you want a Coke, and then if you said it would be like, all right, we have Dr. Pepper. You know what I mean? It meant I would like a soda.
Yeah.
That is so funny. It's so hilarious. So what's next? Like what? I know that you said you're kind of getting a little busier where you might need some help.
Might need a little help.
But like, what are your future plans? Like, where do you see your company growing?
I'd like to, you know, continue to focus on my vacation rentals. You know, that's kind of where a little bit of my, you know, passion kind of is, I guess. If you
it's your niche. It's your
kind
niche.
of my niche. I still enjoy being hospitable. You know, that's what I've always done is worked in restaurants, hotels. I just didn't want to do that anymore.
I get that.
I just want to do something different.
And how are you with the scheduling with cleanings? Because it's crazy sometimes, right? It's usually your Sundays or
Thursdays. I've never had a weekend because I've worked in hospitality my whole life, you know, so like Tuesdays and Wednesdays are usually days off for, you know, like it doesn't make a difference to me really.
But plus it's not all night.
It's not all night. I would rather, you know, clean for 10 hours during the day, but I'm home before 9. You know, I'm home before 10 at the very latest. You know, if I have an extra client, I think on Easter I cleaned 3, maybe 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, on Easter Day.
On Easter Day.
So you're cranking these out by yourself.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that common? The holiday cleaning like that?
I mean, I guess I don't like, you know.
Well, Easter fell on a Sunday.
Easter fell on a Sunday. And
Sunday's a big
I think it always
day.
does. Yeah.
And I think people were just in for the weekend. And then also there was like some spring break thing. So that week before Easter, it was the busiest. That's kind of what really got the ball, I feel like, rolling for me. It was the busiest week that I had. And, you know, I was living off of like, you know, cheese and energy drinks and, you know,
whatever gives you some quick energy
whatever,
and protein.
you know, I mean, I have to say, bring snacks.
Yeah.
Like that's how you're going to get through.
Yeah.
You know? Otherwise, like
you're crashing.
You're not.
And you're moving and burning calories all day. So you're like,
I've been hiking. I mean, like I'm little, but like I can't even keep my pants up anymore. Like, and I don't want to wear a belt because that's like, I don't want.
I need to start cleaning again.
You know? Well, you know, as a waitress for so long, you're going to wear an apron and a belt. and the whole thing. And I was just like, don't like having all that on me, you know?
Yeah.
But I felt like today I'm just like hiking my pants every time, bending over to make the bed. Let me hike my pants up.
Oh my gosh. It's
you know?
not a bad problem to have. I'm telling
You know, I mean, hey, who knew?
All those steps you're getting in a day.
And every
Holy
house
moly.
is a 3-story because we're in the mountains. So
Oh,
it's
that's a good
definitely like the
guide.
laundry's in the basement.
Yeah.
And then they've got, you know, the master upstairs on the top floor and then your middle floor. And it's all with views, you know.
So tell me, like, walk us through the process of that, because like we're, you know, my cleaners are cleaning 1, you know. So you are cleaning 3. Are they in the same kind of area?
Ideally.
Yeah.
I've gone from Black Mountain to Waynesville in one day.
Wow.
I've gone from here to Saluda and back. You just kind of time it out. You know, typically you don't have all your turns the same day where they all need to be done between 10 and 4. That's when like I would have to call someone and be like, I need some help right away. If you don't have to have it done by 4, then you can do some of them later in the evening. So then I'll just kind of time and look, and can I start at 10 or start at 11? Depends on checkout.
Yeah.
Right. And just kind of make the driving map. What makes the most sense for me? What route for me to take?
Yeah.
So
what's
they're,
more efficient?
What, an hour apart max, probably?
Yeah, that would
For the
be
most
max.
part? Yeah.
Because Asheville's pretty central. We've noticed everything's like 30 minutes.
Everything's 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try to not have more than one that's super far away a day,
Yeah.
but I can make it work.
If you
You
have
know,
to, yeah.
like I have
Nice.
2 that are literally 5 minutes down the road from each other. So if I have to turn both those in the same day, I can do that super
Yeah.
quick. I can even like start laundry at one, go drive to the other one, start laundry at the other, and then like go back
Yeah.
because
if
they're so close to
enough.
it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's smart.
And we
That's
can
smart.
appreciate that more than ever, because we've had a couple instances and still where we're like, should we just buy 2 washers and 2 dryers? Because it's sometimes
It's not the second washer. The second dryer is what
It
it
is
is.
the
You have
dryer.
to beat the laundry.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you want to win, you have to beat the laundry.
So
So
we might be able to get away with just another dryer.
yeah,
I didn't
and
think
if you have
about that.
microfiber sheets, they dry faster. You want
Yeah.
to wash on the quick cycle.
Yep.
And then
that was the
have
trick we learned. Yeah.
Yes.
I have a drying rack. So start towels first. Towels are in the dryer. They're going to take longest to dry. You got first load of sheets in. You take them out when they're done. You put them on the drying rack. You get another load of sheets in. So
Yeah.
you're not waiting
Yeah.
for the dryer to finish. You're always like a load ahead.
Yeah.
I have one property. She's got 6 king beds, but she has 2 retractable clotheslines in the laundry area. So literally she
nice.
has it set up so efficiently for you that you can literally just keep going.
She
Oh,
thought
that's
ahead,
awesome.
so that's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's true though. It's the drying is holding it up because now you have all this wet stuff.
Well, you just gave me a great idea. See, this is why we talked to the expert.
What, getting another dryer?
We have a huge, I mean, it's a small house. It's 1,300 square feet, but we have a laundry room the size of this right here.
Yeah.
Right.
We could run a retractable line
Yep.
so that they could get another dryer, and they'd be like,
Done. Yeah.
Right.
How many
Gravy.
beds is yours sleeping?
I have a king, a queen, a single, and another queen.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they wash the coverlets and everything. So, you know.
And when you do have the duvets, it can make it.
I hate duvets. I
More
couldn't do it.
challenging.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No.
Just because
couldn't-
they take so long.
There's no way in hell.
Yeah.
It's like, because
What's
I
a-
don't want it when I go there, because
what's
I
a-
don't like them. Because the
Well-
thing inside doesn't get washed, but the outside does.
What's a coverlet versus a duvet?
It's like
This
what
is
we
a-
have on our bed, the light.
Chris is looking at me like, you really don't
Have
want
you
to know
glazed
this.
over? A coverlet is just like a light quilt, basically, like we have on our bed. Not the thick one that I have our thick blanket
yeah.
has a duvet cover on it, which I hate,
Okay.
but it was cheap. So.
I got you. I see.
Anyway.
That's something I probably won't retain, but I wanted to know just for now.
Anyway, it's impressive that you're able to, like I used to do 3 to 4 cleanings a day when people live there, and that was like a long, long day. So I'm impressed how you're kind of balancing that and being
Yeah,
able
no
to get
doubt.
that done.
It's not ideal,
Yeah.
I mean, I am tired, and I
Yeah.
feel like I've been working a lot, but I'm like so grateful that I don't care.
Because you're building the base now to where you can move along and start building a team.
Absolutely.
What does
Yeah.
that team look like in your future to you?
Oh gosh.
Speak it into the universe.
I
Yeah.
feel like it would have to be like-minded, hospitable people that
Yeah.
care about taking care of the people more so than they care about just coming in to clean and get a check or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I don't know that I could really like ever let go of my like short-term rentals. They're kind of the ones that I think I would still want to at least like visit every day, or I have to go behind and check, to make sure they're to my standards.
Yeah. I think that's a good goal though. It's almost like you bring on people that are like-minded and you train them. They got to train for a certain period or whatever. Then you give them the short-term rental or whatever. But your day consists of a little check before they leave. They got to call you, say, hey, we're almost done. You go, you check.
Yep.
Here's what we can correct a little bit. That's, then you're like really a chick boss,
Yeah. I mean, why not be, women owned, women ran, women, no offense, men in the room, but, ladies do it better.
Hey, look, I was over here just telling you I used Comet 10 years ago. So whatever.
I mean, I can count the number of times he's vacuumed on one hand in 10 years, but that's okay.
Well, now I have this little robot that vacuums because, see, I have corgis. So,
how do you like your? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
I mean,
is it worth it?
Yeah, it's definitely worth it. But I feel like they have the one that empties itself.
Oh, it's time. It's older, but
that's the one we're going for next.
But I'll tell you what, if you've never had one,
you still have to vacuum, but you can run it, once every other day, and it's getting all those dust bunnies and stuff. You know what I mean? So you don't have to like get the the hose out and hose
it's like
everything.
You come home from cleaning and then you're like, oh God, what did I do to myself?
No, see, you need one.
I kid you not, though. I was a skeptic, and again, ours is older because it's just a little thing brush going around. But when you go to empty it the first time, you're like, holy crap!
It's like crammed.
It really does work. It's like, especially the random pattern. You're thinking, does it get everywhere? But it really does work.
But now they have ones that like scope out your house.
Yeah.
What do they have? LiDAR.
Well, and you can...
they have like a whole map and everything.
You can tell it to go to the bathroom if you need
the expensive ones. You can say, can you vacuum the bathroom? And it will leave its dock, but it will also now empty itself and everything. So it's, we're all going to be like Wall-E. But
we're what's her name from the Jetsons? Rosie. We can all be Rosie from the Jetsons.
I'm telling you. Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Well, so exciting.
I
was just super impressed by like your website.
Like design ideas from your website.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Squarespace made it really easy with the templates that they had, and my whole family's pretty artistic, so I think I kind of like lean in that direction anyway.
Very nice.
Not so much the like bookkeeping side of things. Like I'll need his business savvy when it comes to like reeling me in, but as far as the creativity and the people part and everything, that's kind of more.
Well, if you need a good tax guy, I have one for you. So
Fantastic.
there you go.
A tax attorney, which we found is just much.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a big help this year because we were scared.
Yeah,
it was very intimidating.
I've always done my own taxes, but I'm thinking next year
don't do it. Because you're going to miss so many things.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that, Rosa, we resisted that for so long, and I resisted it because I did my own, and we got money back and everything, and I don't want to spend part of that.
Yeah.
She finally convinced me. What did we pay him? Do you remember?
$545.
So even if it's $1,000, we got back
Well,
two times as much, maybe
wow.
3 times as much as I've ever gotten back before.
Well, we did get a discount because I referred so many people to him.
You mean the fee for him, but I'm just saying that
this is how I get my discount. I'm going to refer him off.
they know a lot of things.
We also have multiple businesses, though,
Yeah.
which adds to it and your personal stuff.
Right. Yeah. I think now I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I can stop doing it myself. I'll let someone else.
He makes it so easy too.
He really does.
And he does everything over the phone. It's like, okay.
Shout out to Pineapple Law. It almost sounded like we were about to say today's episode is brought to you by Squarespace.
I know. and you're like, Pineapple Law, he chose it because it's literally easy for people to find. Nobody else had it.
Yeah.
So that's why he chose the name.
The pineapple is like the sign for hospitality too as well. Like a lot of hospitality professionals in hotels, you'll see have the little pineapple pin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I know some other people do other things with pineapples, but like
we should tell Tom that. He may not even know that.
Well, we're from Florida and they have the villages there, so we know what the pineapple stands for.
I don't, but this is a clean version of the show. If you want to join our Patreon, we'll talk all about
it. It means they're into having a lot of people over at their house, different people.
It's a great after party.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. I didn't realize
heard of this.
There was a code for pineapple.
Pineapples are a code.
All right.
They are.
Cool.
Everybody out there's going to be messaging us. How do you say that?
They're Googling now.
Gosh, where did this start?
Where did this start? Thank you so much for joining us
thank
tonight.
you. This was awesome.
Yes, I had a good time.
And we ended on the pineapple note. Where can everybody find you? We'll also include the link as well, but where can they find you if they want more info?
So my website is rubyshomecleaning.com. I am also on Facebook and Instagram. Please follow me. I'd love to take care of your vacation rental for you.
Awesome. Very nice. Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks for, educating me, at least, on a bunch of this stuff.
We'll educate you a little more after the show.
About the pineapples. Okay. All right.
All right, guys. And with that, that's a wrap. And remember, at the end of each and every day,
it's all fine and dandy.
Hi, listener. Want to know how you can help support our small local podcast? Head on over to patreon.com/fineanddanjee and see how you can become a patron.